Huh? SIR. Yeah, she told. Yeah. So what is this? Bullet train, huh? Huh? Yeah. So very soon, maybe in coming like in 4 or 5 years or maybe in 10 years, you can travel in this train in India. So it is imported from Japan. So first we'll start with the online gaming bill. So, because I didn't cover this topic in the last class, so I'm covering it now. So what is this online gaming bill? So what is the requirement of bringing this online gaming bill? So what do you think? Because all you are in your prime 20s. Means in the 20 to 30 brackets. Prime 20s, yeah, or mid 20s. So you are the perfect people to tell the answer. Is the online games good for the country or not? Why? Don't become biased. Means because we don't play that, so that's why you can. Candy Crush. So Ludo. But even the Ludo, because some places like in some games, in some companies they use the betting, right? Ludo is a game of luck or the game of chance, not a game of skill. So do you understand what is the difference between the game of skill and game of chance? So what is the difference? What is the difference between game of luck and game of skill?
Game of luck is poker.
So how it gonna impact the youth? So and why there is need for Indian government to ban this kind of online games, and especially the betting and these kind of things which come under the state subject, not in the central subject. Lottery, betting, this is a state subject, not a central subject. So how center can frame a law to ban these online games? So that's one we'll discuss. So as the digitalization was increased so much, in India games also started to, online games, especially the online games. So due to the penetration of internet. So one of the main reasons why the online games are popular in India, the penetration of internet and the mobile phones and mobiles. So we have very high speed internet at our hands, especially the teens. They were very much addicted towards the online games, especially after the time of COVID. During the COVID and after the COVID, the popularity and the usage of online games and their importance has skyrocketed at sudden. So what are the technological enablers? This is one of the prime reasons. The affordable smartphones plus cheap data. So nowadays, to download a movie, hardly it will take 1 minute. If you have a 5G phone, in 1 minute you can download a 2 GB movie. So that much high speed data will enable to play the very high end online games. But what are the threats it pose to the online games, and what are the reasons this government tells to bring this law? It tells like 3 important reasons. One, to curb the addiction. To curb the addiction. And second, to address these financial losses. And third, to address the social distress. So government said these three reasons. So to curb the addiction. So why the government have to curb the addiction? Why? So why it want to curb the online addictions, like online games addictions among the youth? Yeah, if they don't, I will tell you one case study. It's already in the notes. So there is a person called Nishant Srivatsava in Mumbai. So he is an employee. So some IT sector employee. Okay. This guy name is Nishant Srivatsava, an IT employee. So his online game, he started to play one online game, and which was introduced by his friend. And initially he started to get some returns. So even if he recharged 1000 rupees and he played, and he used to get around like 1500, like that. And then he invested around 1.9 lakh and he got 1.6 lakh in return. Still it's fine. And then his interest towards this online game increased. He thinks that I had a better chance to get more profits instead of doing the jobs. And he invested 3 crores. And he sold his savings, his mother's ornaments, his house, everything. This is a real case news. You can get in the Google search. And in return, how much he got? 59 lakhs. So what happened to the 2.6 crore? So what happened to this 2.6 crores? It went to whose pockets? Mauritius or whatever the means. So it is creating a huge financial loss for the players. And also, so if there is 2.6 crore rupees, if there is direct digital addiction, if digital addiction increases, what will happen? The productivity will increase or decrease? Productivity will decrease. So which is very crucial for India. As a rising or aspiring a developed economy, so it have to keep its youth in line. And it sees that online gaming is one of a major threat. So it curbed this online gaming by banning especially the money, the games which involve the money, real money games, RMGs. So this is the simple overview in a case study. So to curb the addiction and financial losses and also the social distress. Just imagine a person after keeping the 3 crores of rupees in the online game and lost almost everything. So what happens to his status in the family? Throughout his life, like from his mother, father, everyone. So the social distress, he will become like everyone will boycott him, especially the family members. So to address the social distress, and these three reasons, so government brought these laws. And one more thing. So this betting and all, it's a state subject. So why the central government have to involve here? The central government have no business here, but still the central government involved. Why? To generate income, to apply tax, it's already there. It's already, these online games, see the online companies, gaming companies, they're paying almost 28% as a tax. So for example, a Dream 11, a cricket app or something, if you register, if you enter into that app, so if you recharge for 1,000 rupees, immediately 15% will be taken as a cut, as a fee, processing fee by that company. For example, if you invest 1,000 rupees into 100 people, how much? 1 lakh. In that 1 lakh, 15% they will take as a cut for that company. So how much is there in the betting now? 85,000. Only in this 85,000 they have the online betting will continue. And among that, only 1% will get the major cut. In that 100 members, only 1% will win the major money, maybe 5,000, 10,000, like that he will win. And 5% they will win a little meager share. And what happens to the major money? And these online games, they are designed in such a way, their algorithms are designed in such a way that it will make you so much hard for you to win the game. If it is easy for you to win the game, so who will get loss? Company will get loss. If everyone will master to win the games, so the company won't do any business. So they will make the algorithm such a way that it's impossible for you to win. So that is very important. If you take the same, the Nishant Srivatsava case. So he was very much educated and all, still he invested and he lost. So that's why the government want to bring the bill to ban this one. And the same thing, the Nishant Srivatsava case, because these online games is in which jurisdiction? Because it is an online. So the state cannot impose any ban. Even the betting is in the state subject, but the ban on online apps can only be imposed by central government. So only central government can block the websites, and central government only can regulate the money transfers. So these are the reasons that central government have to jump in and frame a law to ban these online games. So who is the sponsor until now for the BCCI? Dream 11. Dream 11 is an online gaming company which you can recharge and you can invest your money to get it back. So that is the simple synopsis of this story. And before this banning, is there any regulations exist or not? There are some regulations exist to mandate to regulate this kind of online company games. So some of them are IT Act 2000. So IT Act 2000, which also regulates these online games, and also BNS, Bharatiya Nyaya Shastra 2023 sections 111 and 112. And these are the acts: IGST Act 2017, Consumer Protection Act 2019. So these are all or the regulatory acts of these online games. So you understand that even it is a betting is a state subject. Why the central government have to kick in? Because of the if someone want to, if state governments cannot ban the online apps. Even some state governments already they banned in their state jurisdiction. But is it possible? For example, Telangana right now, Telangana had banned the online games. But still we can use the Dream 11 and everything. Because the state government can't have any authority to ban the online games. And also it cannot regulate the money. Only RBI, central government, they can regulate the money. So even it is not in the schedule of government, state, center have to make the laws. But what are the negative effects of banning? What are the negative effects of banning? Because the online games are very thriving industry. Almost 2 lakh employees it has. Almost 2 lakh people are employed in these online games. Yeah, it affects on minimal, but it affects on the almost 2 lakhs people are employed in these online games. And the wide recognition around the globe. Even in the Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, the online games are like a physical games, you can win the medals. Same like the running and also swimming, you can win the medals. So here, in this article, it is telling that the core concerns, the fragmented state laws. Some laws bans in Telangana, AP, Tamil Nadu, varied rules elsewhere. So some states banned, some states didn't ban, but even they ban, it is hard to impose the ban in the state. So maybe they would have requested the central to kick in. So when any problem which goes beyond the state borders, even it is in the state's jurisdiction, so it automatically the center will come in and it will make the law. It's not just only for online games. Any issue, it crosses the state's border. So then center has the authority to make the laws. And also see 23% of youth stressed and 87% students are gaming regularly. If they do the maths or the science every day, then India would have been much better place. So 87% of the students are playing the games regularly. And you know what is the average time they play? What is the average? 4 hours per day. So every day they are playing for 4 hours. And just imagine the impact it will create on the global economy, especially Indian economy in the future. In next 5 years, because these are all the teens will graduate and will come into the job market. And also the cyber security risks. Because when they are recharging and all, they will give the bank details. So their accounts will be breached, and already it happened. Almost 11 million accounts are breached in 2024. 11 million means 1.1 crore accounts are breached. And financial risk, around 20,000 crores lost annually, and GST 28% may kill smaller companies. So this is what we discussed. So what do you think that the government has to do? Will you support the ban, or you have any more better approach as a future bureaucrats? You want ban? Complete ban?
We should never restrict them with some age limit.
We should?
Restrict them with some age limit, like 25.
That is, yeah, restriction with the age limit can be one. Yeah, that can be one. Yeah, that is one good kind of a suggestion. Yeah, way forward. So, can someone say another?
Sir, we should not ban completely.
Yeah, we should not.
Point of banning it.
Yeah.
We should ban it, game of chance.
So anything, because it is a rising sector. If voluntarily, if for example, it banned, so it happened like 4 days back. Dream 11 immediately cancelled their sponsorship to the Indian like BCCI. So now they are in the search of finding new sponsors. So as a online gaming sector is an evolving industry in the world. So we'll be lag behind if we completely ban it. So you have to follow some moderate approach. So that's what they gave some approach, the game framework. So governance, awareness, monitoring and engagement. And one more important thing is awareness. The strong awareness have to create. So what do you guys think, ma'am? Is it good to ban?
Banning, they should say, like what is the youth like youth will be having some public figures like Ronaldo and all. They are playing footballers and all. So they can use them as like get teach from your like role models. They are playing physical games, so you should also.
That's very good, ma'am. Glad that you mentioned that point.
Like before banning, they should do all this advertisement and all.
Yeah, this all comes under the awareness only. Like kind of a positive publicity.
Because directly if you ban,
instead of these players, like instead of these cricket players like Virat Kohli and all, instead of they are supporting the online games, if they support the campaigns with the physical games, so it would be more encouraged for the youth to follow and play the cricket instead of doing the online games. That's very good point. Yeah, it already brought some kind of law to ban these celebrities to not sponsor these online games. Few days back, you remember in Telugu there is one, in Telugu means Andhra and Telangana, there is one issue happened. Like there is one YouTuber, the Telugu traveler, Nanveshna. Yeah, Nanveshna, correct. So this whole issue is about this one only, right? Yeah, because there he was criticizing all the celebrities who are supporting these online games, online betting games. Exactly. Yeah. So we can see that as a continuation, like that, like this law also came. So it is not supporting any games which involve the money. Whether it's a game of skill, whether it is, because the Supreme Court and other high courts, they told that Dream 11's games are game of skill, not game of chance. Because only a person who has awareness about the cricket, pitch, climate, then he can bet more good and has a better chances to win. But still the univocally the central government got banned. So any games, any online games which involve the money. It's good, right? Yeah.
Come up with some other strategy.
Like how?
They won't involve direct money. So they will use third party app. So they will create an app, they will use some coins. So they
No, same. It happened here only. So the Nishan Srivatsava, when he is playing, his balance it showed that 5 crores. When he is playing, the balance showed 5 crores. Then he was very much happy. I invested 3 crores. So the 5 crores balance is showing. So I can play and I can win 50 crores or 100 crores. Yeah. But your approach is good. Like instead of they supporting the online games, if they support the physical games, so the youth will be more motivated to play the.
Second point, sir. They should improve the infrastructure. Like here we have India Stadium.
Yeah.
The main thing that is only the sand area. Like if people are going for playing, like they will be having some expectation that now the stadium should be of this time, the infrastructure should be good.
Yeah.
But I see the real condition, their upcoming interest also dies.
That's true.
Government should approach for infrastructure.
And also one more thing. Like nowadays the schools don't have any playground. Right? ARK reflections also don't have playground. That's what.
Like personal experience.
Yeah.
Avinash College, they used to so each year they used to conduct sports day.
Sports day.
Sports day, they'll say we are going to the stadium or that stadium. After going to that stadium, but seeing the sand area, I'm literally thinking, is that stadium? This is what they call stadium.
Yeah.
So completely negative impact.
That's good. Yeah. These all the things are like way forward. Like the government have to bring the better changes into the society, and passively and actively it should divert the youth from online games. You understand? Passively and actively means what? Active means like bringing these kind of legislation and laws. Passively means encouraging the and building the infrastructure, public infrastructure in the like stadiums, parks, these kind of things. So like that, it can contain this kind of online game pandemic or endemic, whatever. Yeah. So next topic was India, Japan, not China. China, someone said China. India, Japan relationship. So what is this mountain? Can anyone recall this mountain? Mount Fuji. It is one of the famous tourist spot. Fuji in Japan. Mount Fuji. So it is an active volcano. It is an active volcano. So we'll go to the brief discussion about the India-Japan relations. So what is the starting point for the India-Japan relations? Hero Honda. You should go back. That is very near. Still you can go back. Buddhism. So someone said you all finished that ancient history, right? Buddhism chapter you finished. So one of the most followed religion in the Japan is Buddhism. And the Buddhism started where? In erstwhile India. Now, yeah, India only, right? So Buddha was born in Nepal, but it was started in India. And the Zen Buddhism. So what are the types of Buddhism? There are some different sects are there in the right Buddhism. Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana, and Navayana. Navayana by Ambedkar. Ambedkar also started one major sect of Buddhism that is called Navayana. So this Zen Buddhism is based on Mahayana Buddhism. So we all read that around in the 6th century. So Buddhism traveled from India to China, Korea, Japan. So in the around 6th century AD. And also we have students coming from Japan to study in the Nalanda University. So students from Nalanda University. And Japan won the wars on, also defeated China and Russia, which inspired our freedom fighters. So they think that Japan is a small country and it's one of the major powers like China and Russia. So it boosts their confidence to fight on British. So even the British is a bigger power, even we are small, if we can fight, we can win on British. And also next comes the Subhash Chandra Bose. Before Subhash Chandra Bose, you heard his name, Ras Bihari Bose? Yeah. So he left from India and to Japan and he married one girl there and he started one Indian restaurant. And even today, the curry, Indian curry, is very famous, one of the popular dish in Japan. And he introduced that Indian curry into Japan. And after that, you all know the story in the modern history. Subhash Chandra Bose. Yeah. And that time, so Japan was in the Axis powers. Yeah. And the Second World War it lost the Second World War with the incident of nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And later that, it became the pacifist country. Pacifist country in the sense, very important. These terminologies are very, very important. So Japan became a pacifist country. So which works and say no to war. In its constitution, it wrote that Japan as a country should not go war with any other country. So which is, of course, it is influenced by the US. But later, slowly the Cold War era started. So India was leaned to USSR and Japan leaned to US. And from 1958, so Japan started to give the assistance, official development assistance to India around until today. So it has given 50 billion US dollars. 50 billion US dollars as an assistance to the development of India. So 50 billion is very huge money. So how much? 50 billion means around how much money? Around 3.5 lakh crore rupees. 3.5 lakh crore rupees. So it's almost like a state budget of AP, Telangana, like a state budget almost. So is Japan is a developed country or not underdeveloped country? Yeah. So what is its rank in the global ranking in the economy, in the GDP? 5th rank. Because recently India overtook Japan, $4.9 trillion, and what is the Japan's? $4.18 trillion. So this is Japan and this is India. So very recently it has overtaken the Japan as the India became the 4th largest economy in the world. Only just behind the US, China and Germany. Yeah. So you understand, right? Like that, after the Cold War era finished and when India did some kind of Pokhran test, nuclear test, which was very much against the Japan's ideology of that time, pacifist ideology. So it kept some kind of a restrictions. But after that, from 2001, so again it has maintained a good relationship with India. And also it has also signed the civil nuclear deal. Civil nuclear deal with India. Means that Japan is very good with the nuclear reactors. So in the environment you will also get that Fukushima nuclear reactor tragedy. So Japan is very good in the nuclear reactors and then in the nuclear reactor technology. So in this, as part of the civil nuclear agreement, it signed with India with the civil nuclear agreement. So let's see some of the important feature of the India-Japan relationship. When we see the trade, it is the 23-24, it is 22.8 billion US dollars. And FDI. So what are the major Japanese companies in India? Mitsubishi, Honda, Yamaha, Inka, Toyota. So these are the companies came to India and invested in India. These are before, like around from 1960s only, it started to invest in India. One of the earliest foreign companies who invested in India. Like initial days, we also have to see the cars. Maruti Suzuki. Maruti is an Indian company and Suzuki is a Japanese company. So this kind of partnership, very strong economic partnership is there with the Japan. And also some cultural ties also we have. Cultural ties. Like you guys all watch the anime, Shin-chan, Doraemon. Yeah. So that's kind of a soft power. So what is this? Japanese used to call India,
Land of
land of heaven, the Tenjiku. It's good. And okay, I have given some idea about the India and Japanese relations. So why you think that Japan is more important to India, apart from all of this? Apart from all of this, why Japan is more important for India in the aspect of international relations? Yeah. Indo-Pacific. Yeah, in the Quad it is a member. In the Quad it is a member. For example, the free trade, the free open access of Indian Ocean. So Japan is a key pillar. India's Act East policy. India's Act East policy. So Japan is the key pillar in the India's Act East policy. So in the 2025, with the Modi visited the Japan and they set some new targets. Japanese yen, 10 trillion, they want to make the trade. 10 trillion means 1 Japanese yen is equal to how much Indian rupees? So 1 Indian rupee is equal to 0.59 Japanese yen. Like oka rupee ante Telugulo cheppalante adda rupee. It doesn't mean that country is underdeveloped. So the value of the currency exchange rate can't do anything with the money. If you take the Koreas, it is only 0.7. 1 rupee is equal to only 0.17 Korean won or 18 Korean won. It doesn't mean the Korea and Japan are underdeveloped compared to India. Why they keep their currencies very less in value? Because why? Trade means exactly what? Because if the currency values are low, their exports looks cheaper in the international market. So they always maintain the currency value as low as compared to others. So it should look cheaper. It should look cheaper. That's why they were not increasing. If they want to increase the value, they can increase the value, but they are not increasing. So when you will export, so why another country will buy your products? Simple. If your goods are cheaper, then that country will buy those products. So that is one of the intentions, because this Korea and Japan and China, they are mostly dependent on exports. So they planned multiple, and so Japan's highest ODA, so official developmental assistance, means the aid to any foreign government. So India received the highest ODA from the Japan. So it gave many soft loans. Even the coming up project of Mumbai and Ahmedabad high-speed rail network. High-speed rail network. So this is in the 2025 they decided that the Japanese, this is the target. They want to achieve the trade of 10 trillion Japanese yen. So it's already 5 trillion. So they want to achieve to double the trade. And they also planned, they have the comprehensive economic partnership agreement. So they reviewed that, and the Japan industrial townships they want to build, and textiles, logistics, autos, MSMEs. So they want to improve their partnership in different sectors. Comprehensive economic partnership agreement. So recently one more agreement also came, right, with UK and India. SETA, Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreement. This is SEPA. Yeah. You have to, that acronyms are very confusing. You should make sure to understand. And defense and security. In UPSC also they ask multiple questions directly or indirectly related to the Japan, because Japan is a very important ally of India. Very important ally. So if you are a PSIR, you definitely will expect one question from the India-Japan ties. And if you take any Indo-Pacific strategies, Japan is a key pillar. So you must know and aware the India-Japan ties. So they have asked in one question about the exercises, the defense exercises, the army, the Japanese army and Indian army, they will conduct some exercise. Japanese Air Force and Indian Air Force, they will conduct some exercise. Japanese Navy and Indian Navy will conduct some exercise. You have to know the names. Names. Like the Malabar. So Malabar is an exercise consisting of how many countries? The Malabar exercise contains 4 countries. The Quad countries. India, Japan, US, Australia. So the Milan, the Jimex, the Dharma Guardian. So like these, the number of exercises are there. You should all, it's all very important in the perspective of prelims. And also Japan is very good at disaster response. Sendai framework. Disaster management disaster management, when the disaster management comes, so like most of the thing was Sendai framework only. So they will definitely discuss about that, because Japan is prone to disasters. So Japan consists of how many islands, you know? So India has how many islands? Hardly 1,000 islands or 1,200 islands. But Japan consists of 15,000 islands. So there are continuous disasters it has facing. So it is very good at disaster response. And also the coming up project, the LUPEX. They also signed one project called LUPEX. The Lunar Polar Exploration, Chandrayaan 5. What is Chandrayaan 4? You should not, you should, LUPEX, Lunar Polar Exploration. This is Chandrayaan 5. And what is Chandrayaan 4? And what is Chandrayaan 3? Chandrayaan 3, like what is the objective of Chandrayaan 3? But overview cheppandi poni. Like it has a lander, it has a rover. Dark pole or the. So what is Chandrayaan 4? The objective is to bring some material from the moon to the India. Get back to India. Because when we are doing the Chandrayaan 3, the same time, even China did the similar kind of mission in the Chang'e 6 mission. So we had just went and we landed the rover, but China, it landed its rover and it bring back some 1 kg or half kg of moon sample back to China. So that is our next mission in the Chandrayaan 4. And Chandrayaan 5, which is a similar kind of mission with both Japan and India is doing, and the name was LUPEX and Chandrayaan 5. So for us, Japan is the largest donor of officials, the aid we receive from the foreign country. Any country giving to aid to India, so Japan is the highest donor for India. And also the HSR, Mumbai Ahmedabad high speed rail network. So what is the difference between the bullet train and the normal train? Speed? Speed everyone knows, that is the speed. Huh? Time means? Huh? If speed is highest, obviously more speed is equal to less time only, right? Yeah, maybe the technology they use was very much different, because normal, no, that is different. The maglev was different. Magnetic leviation. Have you heard the concept magnetic leviation? But these trains are not the magnetic leviation trains. These are normal trains only, but they have the special engines and the special motors. For example, only our whole train will be dragged by one engine, right? But in case of the bullet train, every engine has every wagon or every cabin has the motors. So it's a collective engine, not just one engine in the front which is dragging whole the train. and also its aerodynamic structures. So Japan is the country in the world first to introduce bullet trains. So the average speed is 300 kilometers per hour. So if any train crosses 200 to 250 kilometers per hour, so that train is considered as a bullet train. అర్థమైందా? ఏ ట్రైన్ అయినా 200 to 250 kilometers కన్నా above travel అయితే then that train is called as a bullet train. So these kind of trains, the Shinkansen, the name of the train was the Shinkansen. This is also very important. E5 and E10. These are the models which they are going to introduce in India. The Shinkansen, E5 and E10. These models. And the 508 kilometers track they are linked. They can't, because these bullet trains can't run on a normal track. So there should be a separate dedicated track for these trains. Why? Speed is one factor. Gauge, because we have the broad gauge. Broad gauge is around 1.67 meters, like the distance between one rail to another rail. It was 1.67 meters. But in here it is the special gauge, there is 1.47. So the gauge also difference. And also, so it will collide with. So what is the speed of the special trains we have? Tejas trains, huh? Vande Bharat, yeah, Vande Bharat Tejas.
130.
Actually, that's highest speed it can go is 160, but it will never take to that speed. Always 100, 120. That is the highest speed they will take. Because if they have to go to that much speed, so other train have to give the space for it to travel. But in the case of these trains, there are some dedicated tracks. No other train will come into this. And also the Japan has did so much, like so much collaboration, so much aid to India's development. Even the India's first metro train was given by Japan. How about this Hyderabad metro train? It was constructed in the assistance of Korea. So you can see on the coaches in the Hyderabad metro rail, made in Korea. Almost you all have traveled, right? But you never notice. Yeah. So yeah, next generation mobility partnership which India used to sign, and it has the HSR, high speed rail networks, metro stations and the smart cities, cold chain, human resource training and exchange. Like one of the main problem with Japan is now it has a very small birth rate. It is only 1.2. To sustain a good population, any country needs at least 2.1. Like 2 people should produce another 2 people. That is a 2.1 birth rate they all should maintain. But Japan is suffering with only 1.2. Like at max, the 2 people are producing only 1 child in the family. So over the time, what will happen? Already 1/3 of Japan is old. 1/3 of Japan is old. So that it need workers. So best spot to get the workers is India. So it's kind of a goods, how we import the goods, we also export workers throughout the world because we have such a large population. Yeah. And what is the average GDP per capita of Japan? $33,000. So what is the average per capita of India? Approx $2,800. So more than 11 times of Indian per capita income. So these are the multilateral and regional alliances with the Japan is in. The Quad, for example, ASEAN, and also in some important events. So it condemned the North Korean missiles and called for democracy in Myanmar, Middle East ceasefire, Ukraine. It also, so these are some areas which India and Japan are working together for the global peace. And UNSC reforms. Have you heard the term G4? G4 and Vinnara, Epudaina? G4. G4, what are the countries? And what is the objective of G4 countries? USA, Russia, Germany, France. 4 అయిపోయినాయి. G4 లో ఎన్ని ఉంటాయి? G4 లో 4 ఉంటాయి. G4 లో 5 ఉండవు కదా. So the G4 countries are India, Japan, Brazil, and Germany. So why they are? So why the objective of getting together and forming these G4 concept was to enlarge the Security Council in the UN. So they all want the permanent seats in the UN Security Council. So that is their main objective. So G4 countries. Maybe what you are telling is G7, I think. G7, not G4. So don't get confused. So this is this one, UNSC reform. So that is, they are working for G4. Economic security corporations. So Japan is very good at processing the metals, and even in the AP. Have you heard about the rare earth metals? Rare earth elements. What are the rare earth elements? So why it is called the rare earth? Why it is called the rare earth? Because the rarely it will found. No, actually its concentration is as much as like any other metal, but it was dispersed or scattered so much that it only available in the smaller quantities. So that's why it is called the rare earth elements. So avi migita metals lage abundant gaane untai, kani chinna parts, it was scattered in a very very small parts. So at a large concentration dorakatam chala kashtam. And what are the usage of these rare earth elements? So ekkada vaartaru ee rare earth elements chala important, because one of the very important current affairs topic, rare earth elements. Atomic energy kanna, especially batteries, especially the batteries, the lithium, these kind of batteries, the future batteries, driving cars, MRI missions, magnets, superconductors, camera, camera also they will use. So everywhere they use. India holds 8% of rare earth elements. India has 8% of holds rare earth elements. And recently they also found the rare earth elements in Andhra Pradesh, and Japanese company Toyota, they started one plant in Vizag in refining the rare earth elements in AP. So Toyota rare earth refinery in AP, it's in Vizag. And also they are also constructing one semiconductor plant in Ahmedabad. So that is where when Modi went to Japan, Modi and Japanese PM. Who is the Japanese PM? Telida? So Japanese PM Ishiba, his name is Ishiba. So they both traveled in the bullet train. Modi and Ishiba, they both traveled in a bullet train, Tokyo to Sendai. That is around 300 kilometers journey. But they went in maybe in hardly 1 hour using the bullet train. And there are in many places, especially the joint credit monitoring, the carbon crediting. You know what is mean by the carbon crediting? Maybe మీకు ఇంకా environment అవ్వలేదు కదా. Carbon credits. What is mean by carbon credits? Simple గా చెప్పాలంటే in the Paris agreement లో there is one clause, Article 6 లో. So there is a carbon credit system. Like ఒక 1 lakh kgs or the 1 ton of a carbon dioxide produced is equal to 1 carbon credit. So for India, it will only produce a lesser number of greenhouse gases, which means it has a carbon credits, more carbon credits. And the developed countries, they have very much industrialized countries, so they produce lot of carbon dioxide. So they can purchase the carbon credits from the country which produces the less than average of like CO2 or the greenhouse gases. So that's why Japan is investing in India. So to get that carbon credits from India. So because Japan is a highly industrialized country, so it will produce a lot of carbon and greenhouse gases from its companies, right? So it want to show a cleaner picture in the world. So it should purchase the carbon credits from the countries which have the carbon credits.
So we can also plant trees.
We can also plant trees, but it is very slow process. Instead of that, what Japan is doing here, Japan is investing the money in India in constructing the windmills, renewable energy. So if you manage to the renewable energy for producing like some unit of electricity, it no need to produce the carbon dioxide gas, right? If it produce some unit of electricity, it no need to produce carbon dioxide. So that unit was considered as a carbon credit. So that carbon credit was taken by the Japan. For example, one coal thermal power plant, it produces like some unit for producing some unit of electricity. So if it is replaced by the windmill or the renewable energy source, so it won't produce the carbon dioxide, but it produces the same unit of electricity. So that carbon which it produces is called as a carbon credit, which they can sell to the multiple countries or anyone, any companies also. So these are the 8 important initiatives which is signed between the Modi and Japanese PM. So the next generation economic partnership, the next generation economic security partnership. Economic partnership means the partnership in the trade, and next generation mobility, like the high-speed rail network, Mumbai-Ahmedabad rail network. The next generation ecological legacies, like this carbon trading system. Next generation technology and innovation partnership, like the LUPEX, Chandrayaan-5. And investing next generation health system. Our Ayushman Bharat is linked with the Japanese health system. So we can exchange. And next generation people-to-people partnership. And next generation state prefecture partnership. So we call as a states, right? In Japan, they call as a prefecture. So instead of like focusing the India and Tokyo partnership, they are promoting the state partnerships, like any Japanese state. So they can partner with the Indian state, and they can do the exchange, the trade, everything. So what are the possibilities are there? They will explore all the possibilities, like the direct flights, like from Hyderabad, like Telangana and one state in Japan, they made some pact. So they can make the direct flights from Hyderabad to that place and that place to Hyderabad. So like that, they can exchange the students. So they can exchange the officers. So they can learn from their municipal commissioner, like the municipal corporation officer, they will visit here. If they can learn something, they will learn here. Our GHMC people will go there. Actually, it is on the paper, it is like that. But yeah, maybe I understood. But that is what the state prefecture partnership is. So you are thinking what they can learn from India. Yeah. At least we can go there and learn something, right? Yeah. So this is the simple thing. Next one was SCO Summit. So this is what happened. Who is this three? These are one of the most powerful leaders in the world. Putin, Modi, and Xi Jinping. Xi. So they met for the 25th annual summit in Tianjin. 25th annual summit means when it started. SCO 2000. So that's how you have to infer. So in 2000 the SCO started. Shanghai Cooperation Organization So Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So how many members are there in SCO? How many members? Huh? Members. There are 10 members. So who are the 10? Pakistan, India, China, Russia, Myanmar, Vietnam. No, they are not there. Yeah, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, and so 9 countries are there. What is the 10th country? If anyone tells, I will give some gift. If anyone tells which is the 10th country of SCO, I will give you a gift. I will give you a clue. European country. It's a European country. Huh? Okay, I will give one more clue. So that country is very close with Russia. Huh? Belarus. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Belarus. I'll give you a gift. Okay. So the Belarus is the 10th country. I will give to him. Yeah. Okay. He will tell you. So what is the objective of the coming these 10 countries together? So they want to discuss on the economy, security, strategies, everything. The security, cyber, anti-drugs, transnational crime. So they want to discuss on these things. So what is the main achievement of this SCO summit was, so the Prime Minister Modi, he managed to bring the Pahalgam attack in the Tianjin Declaration. Usually there is one more meeting happened few months back in the SCO summit, but then they didn't like to bring the Pahalgam attack as a major terror attack. But now this time Modi pressurized to bring that Pahalgam attack as one of the major declaration, one of the major point in the Tianjin Declaration. So this is very important. In the Tianjin Declaration, they brought the Pahalgam attack. They mentioned the Pahalgam attack. And also, they also mentioned the Baluch attack. Because in the Pakistan, you know that, right? They hijacked one train. So they also condemned that attack. So that is some of the important things. So PM Modi, he gave the speech on the 3 pillars: security, connectivity and opportunity. And especially connectivity case, back the Chabahar port, INSTC, and digital and youth cooperation. So what are these 2 things? The Chabahar port and INSTC. No, man. No, not that. Chabahar port is in Iran, which is constructed with the assistance of India, and which is very key to the INSTC. So very key to the INSTC. INSTC is International North-South Corridor, Trade Corridor. So which connects to from India, Mumbai to Russia. So these kind of the general awareness you all should have, because you know these days especially the prelims is becoming more unpredictable, and the general awareness, general knowledge questions are coming more often. At least 6 to 7 questions they are giving it the general awareness questions. At least these kind of knowledge which help you to connect the dots, even you don't know the exact answer, but you can assume the answer. So these are Chabahar Port, INSTC, these are very important. So after 7 years, the last meeting they was done was 2019. So almost 6 to 7 years. So this is the first time again India and China was on the same stage. So that is very important. That is the high significance of the thing. Next, fourth, Women's Safety, National Annual Report Index on Women's Safety, NARI. So this report is released by which agency or which government body? The National Commission for Women. The National Commission for Women, they releases the NARI Index, National Annual Report and Index on Women's Safety. So they released the index, very important. It was released by National Commission for Women. It's a collaborative effort with group of intellectuals. So these are the NGOs, business schools which are involved, but you don't need to write all these things, but write the National Commission for Women which releases the NARI Index. And write the full form also, NARI. National Annual Report on Index on Women Safety. So they surveyed around 13,000 women and they prepared the report. So what is the national safety score? 65%. Which means among 100 women, only 65 members, they are feeling safe. The score is 65%. And what are the safest cities? Kohima, Vizag. Only in South India, in the top 10, Visakhapatnam, Vizag is there, it is the second. And what is the place of Hyderabad? 8th. In the top 10, it is 8th. Yeah, it's good. The safety standards are very high in Hyderabad compared to other places. Banjara Hills. Yeah. Bhubaneswar, Aizawl, Gangtok, all the northeastern cities. You can see the northeastern cities. Just you can imagine the women empowerment in the northeastern cities. That's what we can get the inference from it. What are the parameters they did the survey? Gender equity, civic participation, effective policing, women-friendly infrastructure. And what is the lowest ranked cities? Patna, our yogis, Yogi Adityanath, Uttar Pradesh, Patna, Bihar, sorry, Pataliputra, right? Yeah, Bihar. Lucknow was there, right? So Patna and Jaipur, Faridabad, but you can see some UP states, right? Cities. Delhi, Kolkata, Srinagar, Ranchi. These are not safest cities for women. So why it is not safe? Patriarchal norms, poor institutional response and weak urban infrastructure. So these are very important when you write some introductions in your answers and essays. So these are the points which you can write when it comes to the women. So 6 in 10 women feel safe in their city. That is what 65% score. 40% feel not so safe or unsafe. The sharp decline in the nighttime safety, especially in the public transport and the recreational space. So what are the places which threaten the women's safety, for women? What are the important places which threaten the women's safety? Which threatens the women's safety? What are the places which threatens the women's safety? It is their neighborhood and the transportation. It is their neighborhood which pose the grave threat for women and the transportation. These two places are very dangerous for women. Especially most of the crimes are happening in these two areas only, two sectors. So what are the key highlights? 7% women reported at least one incident of harassment in public places. Especially the highest risk before 24 years age women poses the highest risk. So most of the harassment was verbal harassment and physical, psychological, economic and sexual, less frequent, and hotspots. This is what I am mentioning. The neighborhood, 38% in the transport, 29%. These are the hotspots where the most crime is happening. So women's response to harassments, what they are doing. Among them, only 28% confronted the harassers. Okay. So among them, like you can see the situation of women. Among them who are facing these kind of safety lapses, only 28% are confronting their harassers, and 25% left the scene, and 21% sought the safety in the crowd. 20% reported to the authorities. 100 మంది మీద క్రైమ్ జరుగుతుంటే ఓన్లీ 20 మంది అథారిటీస్ కి రిపోర్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు. So it's in a very pathetic situation. It is very pathetic. ఇందాక మనం జపాన్ గురించి మాట్లాడుకున్నాం కదా. జపాన్ హ్యూమన్ డెవలప్మెంట్ ఇండెక్స్ ఎంత ఉంటుందో తెలుసా? 0.92. That is one of the highest in the world. And what is the India's human development index? 0.6. So there is a huge gap. It's not just the economic development we need. We need more than the economic development. And the institutions and workplaces lo, educational places lo ela undi. 86% women feel safe in daylights and drop sharply at night off campus, especially the universities. Universities lo 86% women feel safe in the daylight, but in the nights not that safe. In the workplace, companies, the software companies, even 53% women unaware of posh policy only. అసలు ఆ పాష్ పాలసీ ఉందని చాలా మందికి తెలియదు. సో వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ పాష్? మీకు కూడా తెలీదా? Even you guys do. There is one policy called prevention of sexual harassment. That is called the POSH policy. If any of your employee, like your colleague or the employer, harasses you by verbally or physically, so you can complain. So that POSH policy is very strict. So it will kind of like a good weapon. Sometimes they will use it for good. Sometimes they will use it for bad also. To harass the colleagues and the officers also they use. So yeah. So you should know next time. Get some awareness about the POSH policy. Like as a woman, this is very important. So what is the readdressal? And only 1 in 3 victims filed a formal complaint, and 1 in 4 confident on the authorities would take action. And 22% formally registered and action take in just 16%. So this is one of the worst situation of India. This is the map of the India, how India is developed. Only 1 in 3 victims can able to file a complaint, and 1 in 4 women confident that authorities would take action. As a bureaucrats, as a future bureaucrats, you have to change this one. Naluguru meeda ante when it is happening, the crime is happening, only 1 woman in the 4 is able to go and complain. As a bureaucrats, it should be one of your main agenda. To empower the women to address their harassment, even in the public places or in their office, private places. And వాళ్ళు రిపోర్ట్ చేసినవే తక్కువ కేసు, వాళ్ళు రిపోర్ట్ చేసినవే తక్కువ అనుకుంటే అందులో యాక్షన్ తీసుకున్నవి ఇంకా తక్కువ. ఓన్లీ 16% యాక్షన్ వాస్ టేకెన్. చూడండి, జస్టిస్ ఈస్ బికమింగ్ నారోవర్ అండ్ నారోవర్. So next, the US tariffs. అయిపోయింది ఇంకా ఒక 15 minutes hardly will finish. 15 minutes will finish the class. Okay. So the US tariffs ఏం లేదు. US tariffs, which are the sectors which are getting affected strongly by the US tariffs? shrimp. Because have you seen in the news anyone from this Nelluru, this region, AP region, you will observe that the price of the shrimp was fallen so down. Because the US, they banned the exports. Ban means they are not purchasing because of the high cost. Because shrimp is like one of the very important diet in their everyday food. Like how we make in every curries, like every kind of everyday food, they add the shrimp. Like we have clear differentiation between the non-veg and veg in India. Only Sundays or special days we eat the non-veg. But they don't have like those kind of things every day. Yeah. So that's why our farmers, aqua farmers, they are exporting shrimp to US and many other countries. Now, because of the prices, the shrimp prices will get down. What India have to do? Now, India have to promote the shrimp internally. So that, yeah, you see, prices in Andhra fell 20%, likely to drop further. Shrimp 2.4 billion exports to US. 2.4 billion exports. So tariff jumped from 10% to 16%, 60%. So 110 on the price and 60% and the jump in there. Yeah. Now the kg became 170, 180 around. So that is one thing. And the next one more the important thing which affected was diamonds. Because India, especially the Surat Ahmedabad region, which exports the fine cut diamonds throughout the world. So that sector is going to affect. The Surat industry, 12 lakh people are going to affect. Textiles, Tirupur, Tamil Nadu, very famous for the textiles. They are also going to affect. And other things, carpets, handicrafts, leathers, these are all the sectors which are going to affect and which impacts around 0.7 to 1% of Indian GDP. This ban will impact 0.7% to 1% of Indian GDP. This is very important, these tariffs. Antaga impact urban sectors enti. Okay, these are the highest impact sectors. What are the sectors which don't impact was organic chemicals, metals, key for like these kind of, especially steel, aluminium, these sectors are not very much affected, very moderately affected. So what government have to do to contain these tariffs? Type with different countries instead of focusing. So government have to take the two types of measures. One is the short-term measures and one is the long-term measures. Immediately how they have to help the farmers. For example, aqua farmers. Now the prices are get down. How the government have to help them. And in the long term, like instead of depending on bulkly on one single country, it should diversify its exports. So that's why it launched already the Indian government silently, it launched the Mission 40 programs. What is this Mission 40 program? So it identified the most highest probable, the best developed countries of 40 countries, which are highest, means highest need of sending, like these 40 countries, they are targeting to send the export. So they can diversify their export to these 40 developed countries, most high probable countries. So even the one country banned, so it won't affect that much, like how the ban of America is affecting. So it silently they launched, because the embassies in these 40 countries, they are actively discussing with those country governments, Indian embassies there. And also push for vocal for local. Vocal for local. So instead of sending the shrimp to the other country, they should promote in India. Yeah, if we daily have the shrimp in our diet, what will happen? Huh? No, it's good, right? Shrimp, it's good, it's very healthy. Royal. Yeah. And also the soft loans. Every farmers who are going to affect it, the government have to give some kind of soft loans with very small interest. So those are the short-term support. And medium and long-term, diversify the export destinations and leverage the FTAs more effectively. Like for example, they signed some agreements with the Japan, UK, some trade agreements. They should leverage these agreements and they should send the more exports towards those countries. And promote the domestic resilience in shrimp, textiles and gems. So these are the short-term and long-term measures. In the short term, so government have to plan the relief, like giving some soft loans and also push for local. Instead of exporting, why don't you eat in our country only, shrimp? So those kind of policies it is telling to support. And also diversify the export destinations. Like only instead of giving all exports to only basket of few countries, if we diversify the exports, so it will be, the impact of the banning will be less. So I will go to the next article. I can just 10 minutes, just spare with 10 minutes, we'll finish it. We'll wind up, okay? In an unstable world, energy sovereignty is the new oil. What does it title says? Very important. What the title is telling. Because the present world is very unstable, being in the Trump sanctions, India-Ukraine war, or the Middle East crisis. So world looks very unstable. So in this unstable world, energy sovereignty is new oil. Because our import bill, India's import bill is how much? Around 600 billion US dollars. 600 billion US dollars, no? Almost 160, 170 billion US dollars. Only the oil bill, the crude oil bill. So around 15 to 20% between. So the bill of imports mostly goes to the oil, and 80% of our oil needs are imported. So if we can achieve the sovereignty in that energy sector, so what is the impact on India? No, it helps for India for the further development, and also it will save our forex reserves. So Indian rupee will not go much deeper and deeper. So there are many kind of impacts. Here the author is telling, so like India imports 85% of crude oil and 50% of natural gas, and Russia is now India's largest supplier. Andiye kada Trump godavanta. So now suddenly Russia became the largest supplier for India, and while discounted, but even Russia is giving the oil in a discounted price, but no one knows what will happen. So it's very uncertain. So 170 billion US dollars, 25% of total imports. Man import cheskune dantlo, mottam dantlo 25% is just from the crude oil. It's very, very important and significant article. So because of why this energy sector, it changed or tilted the direction of how the world thinks about its economy. There are some important 5 incidents which tells that energy sovereignty for any country is must and should. If we don't have energy sovereignty, it will impact us deep. So one was 1973 Arab oil embargo. So they banned the oil exports to US for supporting the Israel. So there, the crude oil prices shooted up. That is one of the reasons. Ultimately, it led to our LPG crisis. Later, it led to the disintegration of USSR and this kind of domino effect. So, which impacted us, the LPG crisis. And Fukushima nuclear disaster. When you study the disaster management, you will study about this. And the Texas freeze. Texas is a southern state of US. మీరు యూఎస్ మ్యాప్ చూస్తే సదర్న్ స్టేట్లు మొత్తం మన వాళ్ళే అంటారు, తెలుగు వాళ్ళే. టెక్సస్ మొత్తం దే ఆక్యుపైడ్. మీరు ఎక్కడ చూసినా తెలుగు వాళ్ళే కనబడతారు. టెక్సస్, డల్లాస్ మొత్తం. సో టెక్సస్ లో ఏమైందంటే సడన్ గా, బికాస్ వై ద టెక్సస్ ఫ్రీజ్ వాస్, టెక్సస్ ఇస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద ఇంపార్టెంట్ ప్లేస్ విచ్ సపోర్ట్స్ ద ఎనర్జీ టు ద యూఎస్. సో సడన్లీ ఏంటంటే ఇట్ ఫేస్ ద వింటర్. సో ఆల్ ద ఎనర్జీ ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ బికేమ్ స్టాప్డ్. సో ఇట్ ఫేస్ ద సీవియర్ ఎనర్జీ క్రైసిస్. And Russia-Ukraine war. Initially, we understood that how the energy was. Russia-Ukraine war start అయినప్పుడు energy means the crude oil prices went skyrocketed. చాలా ఎక్కువ పెరిగిపోయింది. So, because India is buying the Russian crude, it is helping the world to stabilize the process, to stabilize the prices. Actually, by buying the Russian oil, India is doing help to the other countries. If India stops buying from Russia, it has to acquire that oil from some other source. So what will happen? Supply will be limited, demand will be high. So the prices of the oil will shoot up. So by buying the Russian oil, India is helping the other countries to stabilize the global oil prices. You understand the logic? It's not just helping us. India is also helping the world also by making the prices stable. This Iberian blackout is one more reason. So in this article, what is the Iberian Peninsula? Which area is called the Iberian Peninsula? Spain, Portugal, that region is called the Iberian Peninsula. Because why it mentioned was this Iberian Peninsula was mostly dependent on the renewable energy. Windmill, solar. Suddenly it went to sudden blackout. Sometime what happened in the 2025, recently only. So the output generated from this area was completely shut down. So what it incident tells was too much dependence on the this renewable energy is also very dangerous for country. You should not too much dependent on the only renewable energy alone. You should diversify your energy needs. Nuclear, you have to keep some investment. There is one sametha, you should not keep all the eggs in one basket. So like that, so they kept all the energy needs in one single basket called renewable energy. When this renewable energy, there is one big problem with this renewable energy. What is that? It's unpredictability. Like for example, a coal or a nuclear reactor, you know how much, if you keep how much raw material and you know how much output it will create. But these renewable energies are not like that. It's based on many factors, the natural factors. The wind is right or the sunlight is right. You can't control. So it is very unpredictable sector. So the author recommended that 5 foundational principles that India should make to get the energy sovereignty కావాలంటే India should follow the 5 important principles. అందులో ఒకటి coal gasification it has to do. They have to do the coal gasification and biofuels like the E20, hydrogen, these kind of biofuels it has to invest. And the nuclear also, it should not leave the nuclear. And the green hydrogen, pumped hydro storage. If I have time, I would have explained all these things, but I will explain because this is new. Pumped hydro storage. What does it mean by pumped hydro storage? Because remaining all things you will get somewhere. This is very new way of storing energy. So usually this here it will be the water, right? So that will go into the dynamo and it will create the electricity. But when the water is more during this nowadays rainy season, right? We can see the floods everywhere. So water abundance is more. Instead of releasing that water into ocean, and they can store in some kind of lake or some kind of pond in the elevated region. ఇప్పుడు మన దగ్గర వాటర్ ఉందంటే వాటర్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటే ఏమవుతుంది, హైడ్రో ఎలక్ట్రిసిటీ జనరేషన్ కూడా ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది కదా. సో బట్ వీ డోంట్ నీడ్ దట్ మచ్ ఎలక్ట్రిసిటీ నౌ బికాస్ వీఆర్ అబండెంట్. సమ్మర్ టైంలో మనకు వాటర్ ఉండవు, అప్పుడు మనకి ఎనర్జీ ఎక్కువ కావాల్సి వచ్చింది. ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ స్టోరింగ్ ద ఎనర్జీ దే ఆర్ స్టోరింగ్ ద వాటర్ ఇన్ ద ఎలివేటెడ్ పాత్. చైనా కూడా like this pumped hydro storage is coming, like in Andhra also they are constructing some new plants of pumped hydro storage electricity. So they don't store electricity, they store the water in the heights. Why they are storing water in the heights, elevated path? Because when they release the water from the elevated path to down, so they can keep some turbine and they can generate the electricity in the summer when there is no water. So this is the pumped hydro storage system. They don't store the energy, they store the water. So it's almost finished. Just we'll see some snippets. In the PIB there are some short news. So this is very important. Sometime or other time, when you have time, you all should visit these websites. PAB website. This is a direct government news. So they launched the first AI-powered translator for tribal languages, Vaani. The tribal app name is Vaani, India's first AI-powered translator. There are some tribal languages, right? So to preserve the culture of the tribal language, they launched some apps. So that the app name was Vaani. So slowly they are integrating the multiple, just like Google Translator. What Google Translator does? For example, ma'am, she came from Japan. Huh? Yeah. Because you know English, you are surviving. If you don't know English, how you will survive? Google, obviously you have to use the Google Translator. Huh? Broken, you know Telugu, yeah. Koncham. Yeah, little bit. Just imagine if you don't know Telugu, okay, you know, just imagine if you go to Tamil Nadu and some people, he don't know English also.
Sign language.
They don't know sign language.
I want you to tell the answer, like I want you to tell the answer Google Translator, but you are not telling that answer. Yeah. So,
Sorry, you can say China.
How you go to China? Because the Chinese, many people don't know English. Translator. Yeah. So, like that, the government made one translator, AI-powered translator for the tribal languages, like Koya, Gon. There are some kind of languages, right? So, for them to communicate with the outside society. So, they made this translator. So, this is very important. 3 things you should write. Vaani, it's a translator of tribal languages. It is developed with Ministry of Tribal Affairs and the IIT Delhi. Yeah, it aims to preserve, educate and healthcare access to the inclusive governance. Okay, simple. Okay, next. Manakosame idi. Pratibha Setu. Narendra Modi recent address lo, ayana Mann Ki Baat lo, ee Pratibha Setu Portal gurinchi chepparu. Like the person who qualifies all the rounds of UPSC, mains, prelims, interview, everything అయిపోయిన తర్వాత, but still he couldn't unable to get the rank. So his name was stored in this Pratibha Setu portal. So that portal was accessible to the PSUs, public sector units, and some top companies, TCS, these are. If there is some requirement, based on that, they will directly contact you and they will directly take your profile from that and then you will get the job. So this is kind of like a plan B. That should be private and public, any companies like the PSUs can also take, public sector undertaking companies can also take, like the BHEL, BDL, CSR, like some companies which they can, public sector companies they can take, and also some private companies. So you understand this is the objective of the Pratibha Setu portal exclusively for UPSC aspirants. Yeah. Next, Mahatma Ayyankali. Have you came across this personality? Where? In the history. From Kerala, during the time of the Kerala Narayan Guru. So, he is also a Dalit social reformer in Kerala. He started Sadhujana Paripalana Sangam. And he worked for the SC and ST upliftment. That is very important. Okay? Because these are the news mentioned in the PAB, direct public government resource. So you should, these news definitely have the high value. And one more last, Nuakhai Festival. Maybe someone, you know ma'am, this festival, Nuakhai? You are from the Jharkhand, right? How about you? You also don't know. This is the festival of Odisha. It's also some parts of Jharkhand also they celebrate this Nuakhai festival. Because in the art and culture, Indian art and culture, this is important. So every time if I tell, like I will bring some kind of festival and personality, because it will also cover up. So as you should also know, what are the some other festivals? Nuakhai Festival is also similar kind of our Pongal festival, Sankranti. So but they celebrate in the Rabi season, but we celebrate at the end of Kharif season. So it is exactly celebrated on the next day of the Ganesh Chaturthi.
That's different.
Huh?
Festival name.
Maybe in the festival name is different, but the festival was that. Because recently, why it was in the news? Prime Minister Narendra Modi, she wished the Nuakhai wishes to the Odisha and some parts of Jharkhand people. So you must also know. So it's celebrated on the 28th August. So this is the same. How we celebrate the Sankranti. You know Sankranti, man? So what is the Sankranti? It's a crop festival. It's just Sankranti. So what is the significance of Sankranti? Because it is the harvested festival. Like once the crop was finished. Yeah. So Rabi, Kharif, Zaid. There are three important seasons, cropping patterns. You know what is the difference between the three? Zaid, Rabi, Kharif.
Summer crops are
Rabi is winter crop. Zaid is a summer crop. Kharif, Rabi is winter crop. Kharif is rainy, monsoon crop. Because some places they harvest the rice both places also. Because for them, our festival comes in the January month, end of the January month. But here the festival was celebrated in the August end. But both places they cultivate rice only. Because the rice can be cultivated both in Kharif and both in the Rabi season. But they cultivate one season early. So they celebrate that harvest festival as a Nuakhai festival. At least you must know at least 50 festivals around the what happening in India. 50 festivals for your prelims perspective or in the Indian society perspective. Especially for the prelims perspective, you must know at least 50 festivals. Because you will get a question in the festival. So this is the last article. It's done for today. Okay. So what are the important things which we discussed today? Online games. Okay. Inka? India-Japan relations. SCO. Shanghai Cooperation. Yeah. US tariffs. NARI. Yeah. So what is the best, safest place? Vizag. In southern part, it's Vizag. In the whole India? Kohima, Itanagar, especially the northeast state capitals. Yeah, it's good. So what are the hotspots for the transportation and neighborhood? And only among all the cases, only the 16% cases are addressed after registry, and only 20% are among the affected. Only 20% women are registering the cases. In that 20% only 16% is addressed. Yeah. So what are the other topics we discussed? Vaani. Yeah, and Mahatma Ayyankali and Pratibha Setu for UPSC only. So that is the short. Yeah, we'll close.